Well, I'm out here enjoying a beautiful sunset on the Great Plains of Colorado, and was reading this morning some passages from The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And I found a few highlights that I thought were quite insightful and have given me some fun things to think about through the day. He says, your mind is an instrument. It is there to be used for a specific task, and when the task is completed, you should lay it down. Because you are identified with the mind, this is why we're addicted to thinking, which means that you drive your sense of self from the content and the activity of your mind. So that's attachment. When we mistake thoughts and the sum of thoughts and the condition of mind to be ourself, we identify with it. We get our sense of who we are from that. He goes on to say, because you believe that you would cease to be if you stopped thinking. As you grow up, you form a mental image of who you are based on your personal and cultural conditioning. We may call this phantom self the ego. It consists of mind activity and can only be kept through constant thinking. You see, so our addiction to thinking feeds our steady sense of self. He goes on to say quite nicely, to the ego, the present moment hardly exists. Only the past and future are considered to be important by this ego self. It is always concerned with keeping the past alive, because without it, the ego can't exist. Who are you without a sense of past to define you? It constantly projects itself into the future to ensure its continued survival and to seek some kind of release or fulfillment there. And this is quite often why the mind construes spiritual life to be so difficult. Because as long as it remains difficult and as long as the thought idea remains that it can't be easily done or it can't be done, it maintains its own presence. It maintains its own reality. The ego continues to fool you into thinking that its limitations and restrictions are all that you are. So try and watch the thinker. Become well acquainted with the contents and movements of the mind by watching it as a separate entity. Don't get tricked into being pulled into its machinations that cause you your stress and your anxiety and get you involved in a defined life and a defined personality and a set sense of behaviors that then cycle you through into difficulties. So be free. That's what Swamiji was trying to tell us when he says that over and over and over again. Emphatically insist on your freedom. I am ever free, ever pure, ever blissful. And don't let the limited contents of the mind rob you from that natural state of being.